by a Congresswoman, the Congresswoman Jackie Speier, who sits on the House Intelligence Committee. Congresswoman, thank you so much. I have 50 questions to ask you, but the first is, I want to get to the heart of this. I think Steve Bannon's got it out for Trump now. He went in and talked all this stuff to Michael Wolff. He seems to think that the route for prosecuting and removing President Trump from office potentially are the business dealings engaged in by his son and namesake, Don Jr., by Jared Kushner, and by Paul Manafort. Money laundering is the route to the demise of Donald Trump's presidency. What do you smell here?
Well, I would basically agree with you that money laundering is a component of what the problem is with the Trump organization and the Trump presidency. I will say, though, that Steve Bannon today wanted to cooperate more fully than he was able to. And I think that he will be called back again. His attorney did not make available any production of documents. Was very regrettable. And again, I think we're going to have to demand that as well. You can't do a legitimate investigation if you don't get the documents in which you can compare them to other documents you've received and ask the kinds of questions that will give us the answers we need.
You said Bannon was trying to tell you the truth. What stopped him?
Well, I think there's a question that is being discussed right now as to whether or not there will be an assertion of executive privilege. And I think that that will be determined in the near term. I will say, though, to you, Chris, that whenever a president has asserted executive privilege, more often than not, when it goes to court, they fail in that. So I don't anticipate that the president's going to be successful. You could only assert executive privilege if it's national security or the privacy is important to protect the public interest. And that's just the reverse of what we're trying to make available to the public right now.
I get a sense that whatever you think of Bannon's politics and weirdness, if you will, politically, he's smart and he has a good memory. I sense he has a good memory, don't you? And he overheard a lot in that White House when he was a confidant of the president about all kinds of things he heard sitting in that room, in that Oval Office. He heard telephone conversations. He heard scuttlebutt. He heard all sorts of political strategizing. He also probably heard the president's fears. His fears of prosecution and what the president's worried about. So he shows up for your committee today, his hair combed. He didn't have the military jacket on, his barber jacket on. He looked like a gentleman.
He was shaved.
That's good. Yes. He obviously wanted to make a good impression on you folks. Was he there to tell the truth?
Well, I think, you know, everyone who comes before this committee has to swear under oath. So he would be perjuring himself if he wasn't going to be telling the truth. And I hope that that was not the case. But again, there were many questions he was unable to answer at the request of his attorney.
Well, if he knows about money laundering, knows the president's involvement in it, the son's involvement in it, Jared's involvement in it, Manafort's involvement, will your subpoena get that information from him?
We'll have to wait and see. What we will attempt to get certainly are the documents, and then the invocation, if that's what is in the offing from the White House of an executive privilege, I think would fail miserably in a court.
Okay, thank you so much.